Welcome to Health Freedom Radio with Jessica Steele and Jordan Fisher. Whole health conversations to elevate your life, your health, your wealth, and your legacy. Learn with us, then share with others.
You ever look at a houseplant that is just looking sad?
Oh, yeah. Like the leaves are turning yellow, stems are all droopy.
Right, exactly. And for most of us, our very first instinct is to just pour water on it.
Right. Or maybe jam some chemical fertilizer right into the dirt.
Yeah, we see the yellow leaf, and we immediately try to fix the leaf. We treat the symptom.
Which goes against, well, actually, it perfectly aligns with all our conditioning. We are fundamentally wired to chase the symptom.
I mean, a headache means we need a headache pill, right? A droopy leaf means a droopy leaf cure.
Exactly. We completely ignore the environment that the leaf or, our own cells actually live in.
And any experienced gardener will tell you the problem is almost never the leaf itself. It is the soil.
It's the root system.
Yeah, it's the overall terrain. So, okay, let's unpack this. If you are someone listening right now who feels completely depleted, maybe your brain is foggy or your joints ache despite doing all the quote-unquote right things.
Right. The diets, the workouts.
Exactly. If that's you, this deep dive is specifically for you, because today we are pulling from the Terrain Code Whole Life Healing Blueprint. We've got clinical ingredient dossier and the working documents for the Live Pure Core bundles.
It is a massive shift in how we build human health.
It really is. And I want to start with why so many people feel stuck. Because people spend massive amounts of time and money on this stuff and they still feel inflamed. Why?
The primary failure point in modern wellness is the assumption that more equals better.
Like more of everything.
Yes. When we feel fatigued, we throw more stimulants at the brain. If we feel heavy, we do more aggressive dieting or, add another high-intensity interval workout.
Or we just stack random supplements we saw on some social media feed.
Right. And all of that more acts as a heavy biological burden on a body that is already struggling.
It feels like it's like redlining a car engine that hasn't had an oil change in 5 years.
That is a perfect analogy.
You're just pushing a failing system harder and wondering why it's smoking.
Exactly. The body rarely needs more volume. It needs the correct inputs in highly specific forms and in balanced amounts.
Right.
The inner terrain of the human body isn't just an empty bucket you fill up with vitamins.
Like the soil analogy.
Yes, like living soil. It requires basic hydration, clean channels of elimination, stress balance, broad-spectrum micronutrients, and the raw materials needed for cellular repair.
So if your inner terrain is compromised, taking a handful of random new supplements is
biologically useless. The environment cannot absorb or utilize them.
Okay, so if the terrain is the missing piece, and it clearly dictates how we feel and function, why is the conventional wellness market getting it so wrong?
Well, there is a gaping hole in how we approach care. Conventional medicine is brilliant for acute trauma. Like, if I break my arm...
You want a doctor, not a botanical extract.
Exactly. But it often defaults to symptom management for chronic issues. On the flip side, when people try to naturally nourish and rebuild their bodies before those problems become chronic and incredibly hard to unwind, they hit this massive information overload.
Yeah, you're standing in the grocery store supplement aisle staring at walls of disconnected bottles.
Right. They don't know what interacts with what or what order to take things in.
Which means they just guess. And if the supplement aisle is a disconnected nightmare, how exactly do we force these nutrients to communicate? Like, where does the sequence actually begin?
And what's fascinating here is that this is exactly where the Live Pure Core bundles bridge that gap. Live Pure isn't just throwing random vitamins into a box. They are providing a structured nutritional architecture.
A system.
Yes. It's a whole body logic that follows a very deliberate sequence. You cleanse the body, balance the stress response, build the nutrient reserves, mineralize the physical structure, energize the brain, repair the connective tissues, and finally protect the entire system with phytonutrients.
Okay, let's look at how that architecture is built from the ground up, starting with the foundational stuff.
Right. The current daily foundation is called the core base.
And that includes 4 specific products: Cleanse, Go Yin, Daily Build, and Calcium K+. Let's start with Cleanse. From a clinical perspective, we're talking about Cascara sagrada, right?
Yes, which comes from the bark of a North American shrub.
But I want to push past the label here. How is this different from just buying like a giant tub of generic fiber at the pharmacy?
Okay, so generic fiber simply adds bulk to the digestive tract. But the active components in Cascara sagrada are called anthraquinone glycosides.
Anthraquinone glycosides, okay.
Think of these as microscopic rhythm makers. They interact directly with the local tissue in the colon to trigger peristalsis.
Which is that gentle, wave-like muscle contraction, right?
Exactly. And they also mildly inhibit the reabsorption of electrolytes and water from the colon.
So they intentionally keep water in the bowel to actually move things along rather than just packing it full of dry fiber.
Yes, they facilitate the body's natural mechanics. Instead of visualizing this as taking out the trash, think of the colon and the liver as a municipal waste processing plant. If the conveyor belts in that plant stop moving, the entire city backs up with toxicity.
Wow.
Cleanse gets the conveyor belt moving again. And it is intended for short-term use, typically in 7 to 10-day cycles.
Because you want your terrain to eventually handle that elimination process entirely on its own.
Precisely. You reset the system.
So that reset clears the way. Then we move to Goyin for adaptive stress resilience and daily build to actually replenish the body's micronutrients.
Right.
But there's a term that comes up constantly in the clinical dossiers regarding daily build and mineral absorption chelation. Why does it matter if a mineral is a chelate?
Well, minerals in their raw elemental form are essentially rocks.
Literally just rocks.
Literally rocks. And your body is terribly inefficient at absorbing rocks. They often pass right through the digestive tract.
That makes sense.
So chelation is essentially a biological smuggling operation.
Smuggling. I like that.
Yeah. It attaches that raw mineral to an amino acid, a protein building block that your body eagerly absorbs. By smuggling the mineral inside an amino acid, bioavailability skyrockets.
We're tricking the body into absorbing the rock by wrapping it in food.
Exactly.
Which brings us to the fourth pillar of the core base, calcium K+. But why is a calcium supplement the priority over, say, a daily energy booster?
Because mineralizing the physical structure is paramount to a stable terrain. But calcium K+ isn't just rudimentary calcium. It utilizes a highly biologically active form of vitamin K2 called menaquinone, or MK11, derived from natto.
I've seen K2 popping up everywhere recently. A lot of wellness influencers call it a traffic cop for calcium.
Yeah, that's a common analogy. I prefer to think of K2 as a biological GPS system.
Okay, how so?
If you flood the body with standard calcium, it wanders around blindly and often ends up calcifying the arteries or soft tissues.
Yikes.
Right. K2 provides the GPS coordinates. It actively directs the calcium into the bone matrix where it belongs, keeping the vascular system clear and supple.
And we need that constant supply because our bones aren't static pillars. The terrain documents mention that we undergo continuous bone remodeling.
Yes. You get practically a whole new skeleton every decade.
Every decade. That's incredible.
The body tears down and rebuilds bone tissue at a rate of about 10% every single year. You need that continuous supply of calcium, magnesium, and K2 to support that architectural turnover.
Okay, I understand the structural logic, but I have to voice some skepticism on behalf of the listener here.
Go for it.
If I'm exhausted, dragging myself out of bed, and dealing with brain fog, I want to feel awake. Why isn't focus with energy in this foundational base bundle?
It is a vital question. And historically, it actually was. LivePure has a legacy model called Core 4.
Core 4, right?
Yeah. That older bundle did sequence cleanse, go in, daily build, and focus with energy. But clinical understanding evolved.
So they changed it.
Right. The current core-based model replaced focus with energy with calcium K+, because a truly optimized terrain requires deep structural mineralization first. You have to fortify the chassis of the car before you upgrade the engine.
That makes total sense. But what if I want the upgraded engine too? Say my daily foundation is set, my structure is mineralized, but my life demands a higher gear. Like, I need real functional energy, deeper recovery, and an athletic edge just to keep up with my week.
And you build upward to the next level of the architecture, which is Core Plus. You keep everything in the core base, but you add 3 critical new layers.
And those are focus with energy, organic sulfur, and Mila.
Exactly.
Now, focus with energy makes perfect sense for cognitive drive, but I'm going to challenge the organic sulfur edition. You're telling me I need to buy an entirely upgraded bundle just to get sulfur. Can I just eat more sulfur-rich foods like garlic, onions, or broccoli?
You absolutely should eat those foods. However, modern agricultural soils are notoriously depleted of essential minerals, including sulfur. The vegetables we eat today do not contain the same mineral density they did 50 years ago.
Oh, that's a really good point. We're back to the soil analogy again.
Precisely. And sulfur is an absolute biological necessity for the structural resilience of your connective tissue, your skin, your joints, and your fascia.
Fascia, that's that continuous web that wraps around our muscles, right? Kind of like the thin white casing around the sections of an orange.
That is a brilliant visualization. Yes, that web enwraps every muscle, bone, nerve, and organ in your body. When your inner terrain lacks sulfur, that connective tissue becomes stiff, glued down, and compromised.
So you literally feel it.
Oh, absolutely. You lose your mobility and you feel physical restriction.
Yeah.
Organic sulfur provides the concentrated raw material to maintain the glide and elasticity of that entire fascial web.
So it literally holds the terrain together while allowing it to move freely.
Exactly.
And the third addition to Core Plus is Mila.
Right, so Mila bridges the gap between targeted supplementation and functional whole food nutrition. It is a chia-based food that introduces critical dietary fiber, plant-based omega-3 ALA, and deep satiety.
So it keeps you full.
Yes, it acts as a prebiotic, feeding the gut microbiome while providing a sustained, slow-burn energy profile that prevents that typical afternoon crash.
Core Plus sounds like a massive upgrade for functional performance. But there's still one more level at the very top of the architecture, the ultimate full-terrain expression, Core Complete.
Yes, this is where we add the superfruit layer. Core Complete takes everything we just discussed and stacks acai, noni, goji, mangosteen, and a proprietary blend called Fusion.
Superfruits always sound great on, like, a trendy smoothie menu. But from a clinical terrain building perspective, what are they actually doing? How does drinking an exotic fruit blend fix my biology?
It comes down to how the liver processes hazardous materials. We talked about the municipal waste plant earlier.
Right, the conveyor belts.
The liver has highly specific detoxification pathways, known clinically as phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 pathways.
Wait, break those down for me. What actually happens in those phases?
So in phase 1, the liver uses enzymes to neutralize a toxin. But in doing so, it often creates a highly reactive, volatile intermediate molecule.
Like a dangerous byproduct.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is like dismantling a bomb, but leaving the exposed wires active.
Oh, wow.
Exactly. In phase 2, the liver must quickly attach or conjugate another molecule to that reactive intermediate to make it water-soluble.
So it can be flushed out.
Yes, safely flushed out in phase 3.
So if your phase 2 is lagging behind your phase 1, you just have all these volatile, half-dismantled bombs floating around causing cellular damage.
Precisely the issue.
Yeah.
And this is exactly where the superfruits come in. They provide deep phytonutrient intelligence. Noni, for example, is uniquely equipped to upregulate the liver's phase 2 binding capacity.
Oh, that's fascinating.
These fruits aren't just, healthy antioxidants. They are molecular triggers that modulate those specific detox pathways, scavenging the free radicals produced in phase 1 and ensuring the toxins are safely ushered out of the body.
When you explain the mechanisms like that, it completely changes the perspective.
It really does.
But the natural skepticism of any consumer standing in the supplement aisle is going to be, do I really need the whole ecosystem? Like, why can't I just buy a bottle of Goyen for my stress and call it a day?
And look, you certainly can use them a la carte, but synergy matters exponentially more than chasing individual symptoms.
Because of how they work together.
Right. If you just take focus with energy to feel awake, but your channels of elimination are backed up and you are mineral depleted, you are just redlining that tired engine again. The sequence is the secret. Cleanse clears the pathways. Goyen balances the stress response. Daily Build nourishes the reserves. Calcium K+ mineralizes the structure. Focus with energy supports cognitive alertness. Organic sulfur maintains the structural glide. Mila adds functional whole food nutrition. And the superfruits add that deep phytonutrient protection.
They have to work as an ensemble. And there is a subtle but incredibly powerful note in the dossier regarding the validation of this ensemble. Several of these items, Cleanse, Goyen, Daily Build, Calcium K+, Focus with Energy, and Organic Sulfur are listed in the PDR.
The physician's desk reference. And we must be exceptionally accurate with our language here. Being listed in the PDR does not mean something is a medical cure.
Right, definitely not.
And it is absolutely not medical approval. What it does provide is a profound layer of reference, transparency, and clinical grounding.
It's documentation.
Yes. It shows a level of documentation you frankly rarely see in the general wellness space. It elevates the core bundles from simple vitamin stacks to genuine whole health nutraceuticals.
So who is this actually for? Who needs to look at this map and start building their terrain?
It is for anyone who realizes that fads are failing them. If you are struggling with fat loss because your metabolism is burdened by unresolved toxins, this is for you.
Yeah.
If you want muscle preservation and structural integrity as you age, the minerals and sulfur are speaking directly to your biology. If you need clearer thinking, higher stress resilience, or an athletic edge, you require an optimized terrain.
You know, education is powerful.
Yeah.
We can talk about anthraquinone glycosides and phase 2 liver conjugation all day, but personal guidance is what actually drives change.
Absolutely.
So if you were listening to this right now and someone shared this audio deep dive with you, your next step is very simple. Return to that person. They can give you the specific product guidance you need to choose between Core Base, Core Plus, or Core Complete.
Right. And more importantly, they have a specific discount link that gets you 25% off the retail price.
Which gives you access to wholesale pricing, which is huge.
It's significant, yes.
And if you found this audio randomly, or you cannot get in touch with the person who referred you, you can go directly to the contact pages at worldwidepure.com or targetedneeds.com, and Dr. Phillips will assist you with getting set up.
Exactly.
As we wrap this up, the core takeaway is pretty clear. Live Pure's core bundles don't chase symptoms. They teach a profoundly better wellness philosophy, build the terrain, respect the body's natural design, and use the right tools in the correct sequence.
That's the foundation.
But as we close, what is one final thought we can leave the listener with? Something beyond just fixing our own immediate fatigue.
Well, we've spent this entire discussion focusing on how building the terrain improves your immediate energy, your joints, and your cognition. But what we haven't touched on is the fascinating science of epigenetics.
Oh, epigenetics, okay.
Emerging research shows that the environment you create inside your body today, the nutritional terrain you cultivate, can actually alter your gene expression.
Wait, meaning the choices we make about our internal terrain today can literally echo into our DNA.
It goes even further than that. Those epigenetic changes can actually be passed down to future generations.
Wow.
The terrain you build today isn't just the environment you will live in tomorrow. It is quite literally the biological legacy you hand down to your children. So the good news and the bad news are exactly the same.
It is.
Your life, your health, your wealth, and your legacy are largely in your own hands. Choose wisely.
Thanks for listening to Health Freedom Radio with Jessica Steele and Jordan Fisher. We're glad you joined us, and we hope you enjoyed today's show. We'll leave you with this. Your future is yours to own, and we're here to run with you every step of the way. Let's build it together. Subscribe, stay connected, and share this with someone who's ready to level up their life.